The shocking impact of El Niño on Earth in 2024. In 2024, Earth finds itself once again under the influence of a climate phenomenon that has the power to disrupt weather patterns on a global scale: El Niño. This recurring climate event, characterized by its abnormal warming of sea surface temperatures in the central and eastern equatorial Pacific Ocean, has far-reaching consequences that extend beyond the oceanic realm. As the world grapples with the shocking impact of El Niño, communities, ecosystems, and economies are thrust into a state of flux, navigating the unpredictable and often extreme conditions brought about by this phenomenon. Life on Earth is full of cycles and variations that affect our planet in different ways. Some of these cycles occur over relatively short periods and can be predicted with precision, while others take place over larger intervals and can be more difficult to forecast. One such cycle that has significant impact on our planet is the El Niño Southern Oscillation, the ENSO. The ENSO is a global phenomenon that involves changes in ocean temperatures, atmospheric pressures, and wind patterns in the tropical Pacific Ocean. It's characterized by two phases: El Niño and La Niña. During the El Niño event, the surface waters of the eastern Pacific Ocean become warmer than usual, which can lead to changes in weather patterns around the world. Conversely, during La Niña event, the waters of the eastern Pacific become cooler than usual, which can also lead to changes in weather patterns. The effects of El Niño and La Niña can be felt around the world, with some regions experiencing droughts, floods, or even other extreme weather events. For example, during an El Niño event, the western coast of South America can experience heavy rains and flooding, while parts of Southeast Asia may experience droughts. In the United States, El Niño can bring heavy rains to California and the southern states, while La Niña can bring drought conditions to those same regions. The impacts of ENSO events are not limited to weather patterns, however. They can also have significant effects on marine ecosystems, including coral reefs. During the 1997-1998 El Niño event, for example, coral reefs around the world experienced mass bleaching and mortality. In some areas, up to 90% of corals died as a result of the warming waters. Despite their global impacts, El Niño and La Niña are not fully understood by scientists. However, recent advances in technology have allowed researchers to better predict these events and their potential impacts. For example, satellites can now measure sea surface temperatures and ocean currents with greater accuracy than ever before, which can help predict when an ENSO event is likely to occur. In conclusion, the El Niño Southern Oscillation is a complex climate cycle that has significant impacts on our planet. While we have made progress in understanding this phenomenon and predicting its effects, there is still much we don't know. And as our planet continues to change and evolve, it's important that we continue to study and monitor ENSO events so that we can better prepare for their impacts. La Niña and El Niño are two phases of the El Niño Southern Oscillation climate event that have significant impacts on weather patterns and ecosystems around the world. During a La Niña event, the waters of eastern Pacific become cooler than usual, which can lead to changes in weather patterns in different areas that have significant impacts on weather patterns and ecosystems around the world. During a La Niña event, the waters of the eastern Pacific Ocean become cooler than usual, which can lead to changes in weather patterns in different regions. In Asia, for example, the influx of warm equatorial water during a La Niña event can produce wet conditions, causing a spike in tropical cyclones. In North America, the jet stream is pushed further north, causing drought in the southwestern United States and rains in the Pacific Northwest. In 2022, La Niña exacerbated a mega drought in the southwest United States, making it the worst in 1,200 years. This can be seen in the images of Lake Mead, where the Hoover Dam is located, where the so-called bathtub ring is visible due to low water levels. The effects of La Niña are not limited to weather patterns, however. They can also have a significant impact on marine ecosystems and fisheries. For example, during a La Niña event, cold water from deeper ocean layers is brought to the surface, which can lead to changes in the distribution and abundance of fish populations. Some fish species may move to new areas where they can better survive, while others may experience population declines. In Africa, La Niña years tend to produce drier than average conditions in East Africa, while the South tends to be wetter than average. This is the opposite of what happens during an El Niño event, when East Africa tends to be wetter and Southern Africa tends to be drier. How does El Niño work? Fishers off the coast of Ecuador and Peru coined the term El Niño in the 19th century to describe a warm water current that regularly built up along the west coast of South America around Christmas. El Niño means the boy, a reference to the Christ child. The warm water turned out to be part of a much larger complicated system connecting seas and skies all over the world. Scientists now know that the Pacific Ocean cycles between warm, neutral, and cool phases roughly every 2 to 7 years, inducing changes in the ocean and the atmosphere. This back and forth is called the El Niño Southern Oscillation, or ENSO. It's the strongest fluctuation of the climate system on the planet, said Michael McFadden, a senior scientist at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the NOAA. You can read more detailed explanation of El Niño's mechanics with them. The key thing to understand is that the Pacific Ocean is huge, and that's just the surface area. The Pacific averages 13,000 feet in depth, but can dip as low as 36,000 feet. Water isn't just moving north, south, east, and west, but up and down as well. These currents are driven by wind as well as temperatures and salt gradients. Earth's oceans also act as a giant thermal battery. They've absorbed up to 90% of the warming humans have induced from burning fossil fuels. And the Pacific, at least, appears to be warming particularly fast. All this adds up to a world-changing amount of energy packed into one big ocean. During ENSO's neutral phase, winds push warm water in the Pacific around the equator from east to west. This lets warm water pool near Indonesia and raises sea levels by 1.5 feet, half a meter, from above normal compared to the coast of South America. The warmer water near Asia evaporates more readily and fuels rainstorms there, and as surface waters get pushed away from South America, waters from deeper in the ocean rises, bringing with it valuable nutrients like phosphorus and nitrogen. This phenomenon is called upwelling, and is critical for nourishing sea life. About half of the fish in the world are caught in upwelling zones. When El Niño starts picking up, this engine shifts gears. The trade winds slow down and the warm waters near Asia start sloshing back eastward across the Pacific, reaching the coast of South America. The drift in warm water also moves evaporation and rain such that Northeast Asia and Australia tend to get drier, while Peru and Ecuador typically see more precipitation. In South America, La Niña produces different effects depending on the region. Along the Pacific coast, there are no warm Christmas-time waters that once prompted fishermen to dub it El Niño de la Navidad. Instead, during a La Niña event, the weather in Peru and Chile turns colder and drier, sometimes producing severe periods of drought. In Brazil's north, on the other hand, there's often more rainfall during the months from December to February, while the lowlands of Bolivia can experience catastrophic flooding. The effects of La Niña on hurricane season also vary depending on the region. In the Atlantic, La Niña can produce a more severe hurricane season due to greater atmospheric instability in the southern Atlantic. However, in the Pacific Basin, there are often fewer hurricanes during a La Niña event. La Niña is a complex climate cycle that has significant impact on weather patterns and ecosystems around the world. While we've made progress in understanding this phenomenon and predicting its effects, there is still much we don't know about how it will affect us in the future. So guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. For more interesting content, give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more awesome content. Have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next video.